Good afternoon. I am Jillian of Field Nation, and I want to welcome everyone to today's Hot Topic webinar, where we will discuss learning in the cloud and the evolution of training. Thank you for joining us. I know you are all very busy, but please stay with us through the entire webinar. This is our 10th session in our Hot Topics webinar series with our partner, Borderless Learning, who provides learning programs so you can learn anywhere. We work hard to investigate and gain platform partners who will bring additional value and insight into our community. We thank Borderless Learning for providing today's free training session and will continue to bring more learning opportunities your way in the near future. With me today are guest speakers Suzanne O'Rourke, VP of Strategic Relationships at Blue Moon Ventures, Inc., and Joern, CEO of Sonic Performance Support. With that being said, let's move forward and keep our webinar interactive. So when you have a question, please submit your questions in the questions section of your screen. We will keep those questions for the Q&A portion of the webinar at the very end. Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne and Joern.
Thank you very much, Jillian. It's our pleasure to join Field Nation today. Can you see my screen in introduction?
We sure can.
Terrific. So it's our pleasure to join Field Nation today. Thank you everyone for joining. Blue Moon Ventures specializes in global distribution of IT training solutions for the IT training industry. We're kind of one of those forces behind the scenes. We're proud to be the global distributors of Sonic Performance Support, and this is Joern Oelze's company, and he is with us as well today. He'll be doing the demo portion of our call, which I hope that you all stay for and really enjoy. We're proud to be their global distributors. And Joern is the CEO. He comes to us today from Hamburg, Germany, and we're very proud of that partnership with Borderless Learning and the support that Borderless Learning brings as solutions to you at Field Nation. Today's hot topic objective is to define cloud training and to provide concrete ideas on how you and the organizations you may be aligned with can benefit and succeed with new training innovations. One of my favorite heroes and visionaries is John F. Kennedy. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Today's about the innovation changes that are occurring in how we learn, how we can learn quicker, faster, better, with better retention. And I hope you get excited with the possibilities for your own learning for the future. So just to set the stage, I'd like to do some definitions. The cloud is really a hard term for people to grasp sometimes, but it's just a place where resources are stored on servers in the cloud in a virtual environment. It's nothing more than giant banks of servers, but it's funner to think of it as something floating in the cloud, and it is in a sense a cloud because it distributes to us anywhere, anytime. Cloud learning is online learning or e-learning, and that can take many, many shapes, that is hosted and available in the cloud. So why all the cloud hype? There are significant advantages and benefits to cloud implementation. It is not just hype. It simplifies our IT support in a variety of ways that I'll go into later. It allows access to the content and the resources everywhere, anytime, and minimizes the cost of software. The level of security for cloud services is very secure and can be substantially more robust than many companies have the ability to maintain or build in their networks. LMSs, which have historically been the vehicle that training is hosted on, LMS meaning Learning Management System platforms, they're still very much in use today. However, they pale in comparison with what the cloud learning environment can provide. They are less flexible, and they tend to take much longer for content to be uploaded and distribution channels to be created and content to be distributed to the users through. So please, write in the chat box, but what does cloud mean for learning? What do you think it means? And Jillian, feel free to tell me the responses because I can't see them.
Okay. Still waiting.
Okay. And, I can continue or we can wait. But I'll go ahead and jump to the answers here. The cloud expands the possibilities of learning exponentially. We don't have even a clue how far this will go. We're at the beginning of a new eon of the way we learn. And learning from anywhere, anytime, on any digital device increases the amount of content and modalities of content that the learner can access. It's not just, hey, what your training administrator may have made available on the company platform. Now YouTube, the internet, proprietary content, user group content, videos, e-learning, textbooks, all of it can be hosted in one environment on the cloud for you to access. So you don't have to go hunt for different resources. They'll all be at your fingertips right now. It allows the mass and select distribution simply and quickly to identified user groups. So maybe a company training administrator wants to have a group that's just for the sales team, or just for the marketing team, or just for the IT department. They can easily, quickly create those distributions and assign the content they need in all different sorts of modalities to those unique groups and those people only. The cloud allows for just-in-time learning nuggets, which we're going to speak more to later in this presentation, to instantly provide needed training in the workplace when you need it, making learning part of your daily life, integrated into every part of your life, rather than dedicated and separate experiences. It's not about going to a class for training and then trying to remember what you learned and applying it. Now you can get what you need as you need it in your job and get right back to work. This is much more organic on how we naturally learn, rather than memorization from an event or a training event. It's called experiential learning. So we've all gone to a class, or you remember your spelling bee practice with your parents, the night before the big spelling bee when you were in elementary school, and you practiced, and then the next day you still got some wrong. Well, there's a reason for that, and that's the forgetting curve. Our retention drops about 60%, it drops 60% over time and about 20% right after you walk out of the classroom. The forgetting curve is a real thing. It's a normal part of how our brain works because we work better. Brain science shows that we work better when we apply what we learn. It gets reinforced. It's not news that retention levels from learning diminish over time. Instructor-led face-to-face training, the most human of exchange, has long been considered the best method to learn. But even with the best, there's still a dramatic drop in retention after the class ends. Now with training accessible anytime from anywhere, you, the user, can pull down what you need instantly and resume the task at hand. This reinforces experientially what you originally learned. So you may have learned it in a class before, or taken an e-learning class or a video course, but until you apply it, it doesn't truly get reinforced in your mind a lot of times. Drilling deeper into this concept of how to reinforce learning, Bob Mosher and Conrad Gottfredson are credited with the concept of the 5 moments of learning. The 5 moments of learning consist of formal learning and informal learning, or experiential learning. 80% of learning is done informally, and yet we've been raised in a mindset that you go to a class or you have an instructor to learn. If the learner can now get the knowledge they need as they go in real time, the retention level escalates as the knowledge is reinforced with real life experience. Formal learning is when someone tells you what you need to learn. This is 20% of what we learn. Even though we spend so much time taking classes and so much of our early life in schools, only 20% of what we actually learn is from formal training. 80% of learning occurs out of the classroom, away from formal learning resources. This is when you learn on your own with your own initiative, and it actually seems to mean more to us when we learn this way because we're applying personal experience to that gain in knowledge. Learning moment number 3 is the most important. Apply what's been learned. When we can apply what's been learned, that is considered a moment of truth. The moment when the newly acquired skill needs to be applied. Wouldn't it be great to have a learning nugget available to refresh as you need it? Wouldn't it have a much higher impact if you needed that knowledge right then? You could have it at your fingertips, apply it, and then it's like, oh wow, not only did I get that task done, but now I get what that lesson was that I learned in class. Cloud learning allows the moment of truth to occur often and frequently and whenever you need it. What if you could get instant coaching videos in your Microsoft application the moment you need it? Sonic on-demand video can be used to learn a Microsoft application or an entire Microsoft Office version to pass the Microsoft MOS certification exams. But Sonic's true power, its brilliance, what makes it amazing and unique is its just-in-time learning capability of providing needed learning moments as you need that information on the job in your personal life, because you can get it from any digital device. That is what makes the training solution a star. Informal learning, the type that is most natural for us, has now become an efficient and instant and at your fingertips. Do you have any clients rolling out Office 365? You can now be the hero, seamlessly providing them with the training that's integrated with their 365 software implementation projects. The same goes for Office 2016. It's always nice if you know how to help other people eliminate stress or pain of projects they have to be in. Being a hero is a fun thing. If you need a demo account for a client or your organization, just contact Borderless Learning and they'll be happy to provide a demo account for you to share. At the end of this webinar, you will be receiving your own 2-week account to Sonic to try. So let us show you what I'm talking about. Joern will now provide us with a short demo of Sonic and the instant learning server, where those moments of learning can quickly happen and occur. Additionally, he'll touch on the reporting capabilities that are available for training administration intelligence. You'll see that Sonic is not like YouTube. It's not watching a video. It's very, very interactive and as you need it. Joern, at this time, I'd like to make you the presenter.
Yeah, thank you very much, Suzanne. Hello from Hamburg, Germany. So let's try to get into the tools. So you heard a lot of the 5 learning moments. I think it's so important, and we know all these learning moment number 3 so well. The moment when we are stuck in the workflow, right? So how can I do this? I know it's working, that there are some functions and functionalities I need to learn in that moment to apply them in my workflow. We provide a tool with thousands of videos for different topics, mostly IT. But the question is, how can I find the exact video I need to continue my work and just have that 5 to 10 minute break and continue my work? So let's try this. There is a big search bar here, and let's do a search. And I created a pivot table. Let's assume that. And I now want to have a nice pivot chart, but I don't know how that works. So I type in pivot chart. In the list of the thousands of videos, there is a search. It's a full text search. And not only the search looks in the description of the video, or in the title, but also in the word spoken. And okay, then let's say create a pivot chart. That seems to be the one I want. You can see all the areas where the search term was found. And the video starts playing, and I will stop for a very short moment so that you can get an idea of how the explanation is going. And I will put my headset in front of a speaker. That's the only way this technology works, and you to be able to listen to it. Again, you will have a demo account at the end of the session. You can try it on your own, but it's just to give you an idea. Okay? Thank you very much.
But many people prefer to see the data presented visually. So I'm going to create a pivot chart. Like my pivot table, this will show total bookings and bookings per region per month for 2015. Creating a pivot chart is quite easy. The first thing I'll want to do is group the dates into months on my pivot table, since that's a time frame I'm interested in. I'll go to Pivot Table Tools, Analyze, Group, and Group Field. Months is already selected, and so I can just select OK. Nice and easy. Now I'm ready to create my pivot chart. Simply select any cell in your pivot table and go to Pivot Table Tools, Analyze, Tools, and Pivot Chart. You can choose from a selection of charts.
So I bet you got the idea. It's a step-by-step approach guiding you through the software and help you to create a pivot chart. And of course, you can jump forward. The total is, as you can see, it's a little bit less than 4 minutes. And that is a good introduction to how to create a pivot chart. But there is more about pivot charts. And when I want to go to the next video and to learn more, I can go click on this one. This opens the next video in the didactical order.
I've got my pivot chart.
Good. So this allows to search for videos and get to videos right in the moment of need. There are some tabs here. One is the information tab, so that I can see what is the duration and the trainer and a little bit of descriptive of this video, so that you can see that you are in the correct video. And we have here the transcribed text. So if you scroll down the text and see where you want to go, you can directly jump to that area of interest and continue from there. So that is the learning moments, the informal learning moments. So the learning moment number 3, and when I'm stuck or when I want to learn more, maybe someone told me that there is a great tool and I have to apply and learn, and I can then search in this tool to get more of the knowledge I need. I focused very much on this search functionality to explain and give you a concrete idea of how informal learning can be organized. But there is also the formal approach when I want to learn something new. And that is simply organized by our learning paths, and there are 2 learning paths, 2 ways to access the learning path. One is just to click on the tile, and then, of course, getting started with Excel 2016, performing calculations. If I go modify a worksheet format, printing workbooks, if I click on that, I go one level down, and then I can access the videos, print a workbook, and so on. So this is the approach of learning something new. And at the end of each chapter, there is a quiz as well. So it's a multiple choice quiz. So formal learning is very much about quizzes. So there's also a quiz. There's also one other way to access the videos, and that is via our ribbon integration. So let's say I'm stuck in my work working with any office office application, and then I can click on this new tab, the performance support tab, and can put in the same search like I did in the web version of the tool. For example, let's say set up a slideshow. Then there is within PowerPoint, within Excel, or within Outlook or Word, a search bar. And there is PowerPoint 2013, set up a slideshow, link to the video. I start the video, and the video plays within the software so that I can easily perform the task the trainer is explaining in the software directly. That is very, very easy to do. So the solution is only one click away, and that makes, I think, the ribbon integration so great. I mean, that said, Suzanne, I think we covered a lot. We run a little bit out of time, so if there are special questions, I'm happy to drill deeper into the reporting issue or any other question that might come up, but I think right now it is good for now.
Thank you, Joern. Thank you, Joern. I appreciate that. Good job, and hopefully everyone grasped that there's 2 ways to access your learning via the web on any device, or you can actually integrate it into your Microsoft application ribbon, so you have a divided screen and the video plays while you continue to do your work. And that's really that moment of knowledge where you get to reinforce what you've learned. Jillian, can you please confirm that you can now see my screen that says informal learning?
Yep, we can see it.
Terrific. So good job, Joern, and I will speed things along so we stay on time. With our Sonic courses, you'll have the ability to search the full script, the book version, as Joern illustrated, and there are end-of-lesson questions. Sonic Performs is true on-demand training. It can be embedded, as I said, in your ribbon, and you'll get the opportunity to embed it in your own ribbon when you get your demo account. But all these videos can also be uploaded to the cloud, and that's really the innovative, amazing phase that we're now in the training industry, is this revolution of the cloud. So all of this content with one click can be uploaded, the thousands of videos, to a company's cloud account, and then sliced and diced as they need it to be distributed to different groups. And in addition to the Sonic videos, unlike an LMS, any additional content that those user needs, could be books, could be YouTube, it could be company documents, it doesn't really matter, a webinar, those can also be uploaded to that cloud video channel. Additionally, the cloud video channel implementation, there's no infrastructure cost. It brings the cost of software down. So companies that may not have been able to afford upfront software licenses in the past can now pay on a monthly subscription basis to access a variety of software. It keeps costs down also because you no longer need a big IT team keeping that network up and running, worrying about security, and helping every user that has some kind of technical challenge. That all has become minor in the face of the cloud. There is reduced downtime with built-in redundancy, no costly translations because we can do closed captioning in multiple languages on these videos very, very quickly at a fraction of the cost of what translation or reproducing videos would have cost in the past. And compliance standards that were required on LMSs like SCORM and AICC no longer apply. That's why this stuff can be implemented really quickly on a cloud. So the cost of training just went down while the quality and the access to that needed nugget of knowledge to complete your task just escalated. So Joern illustrated, but I want to just bring this slide up. This performance support tab is one-click installation for you on your own subscription that you'll get. And with that, you get the search bar and the magnifying glass, so you can go in and select the video that you need right then for the task you're doing. You get to stay in your application while the video is running. So that's one of the things, that's one of the many features about Sonic that really keeps it innovative. So learning reinforcements, this goes back to formal and informal learning. We want to make sure that you're getting as many chances to retain and refresh your knowledge as possible. And so with that, there are high impact videos that are recommended, much like if you go on Amazon and you have a book that you've downloaded, it will recommend additional movies. Or you go on Fandango and you see a movie, maybe it recommends some other movies that you might like if you saw that. Or rather Netflix, not Fandango. So little known features for with high productivity impact are recommended to you in your Sonic subscription. The end of chapter quizzes are important for you to refresh what you know and to test your own knowledge, but additionally, there's a very rich, robust reporting capability that Joern is offered to demonstrate after if we need to, if anybody has an interest in that reporting capability, that takes this raw data and can put it into a graphical interface to show you what users are using what, how are the quizzes, what are the, it goes down to the granular level on a graphical dashboard that can help you understand what users are learning, what they're struggling with. So a training administrator could go in and help and prompt and encourage more training that employees may need to be successful. The Azure Cloud video channel integration is very, very simple, and it allows you to set up multiple video channels within your cloud account and customize them. Maybe you want one that's IT training. Maybe you want one that's a proprietary internal information that is only for the executives in the company. Maybe you want a public broadcast video channel. Those are all possibilities. And for Sonic to be uploaded into your IT training video channel, perhaps, it's one link. We give you the file, you upload it, and you're in business almost instantaneously. So built-in features of Sonic on Office 365 Cloud. When you or your users have access to the cloud, you automatically have access to the training on your video channel, and you can distribute that worldwide to them wherever they are on any digital device. So they can get their training on the train into work on their tablet or on their phone, and there's no additional logins. It's the cloud. They have their one account and they can get access to all the different media that you put there for them. Cloud learning benefits facilitate content sharing and knowledge sharing and instantaneous access to just-in-time learning. You get to eliminate language barriers and keep it all secure with less effort and less cost. So there's huge advantages to the cloud, and it's changing how we do things, not just with learning, but as you know, it's disrupting a lot of other traditional processes because it takes away a lot of the barriers. Just the cost savings and the effort from an IT department's advantage are very significant things for an organization today. Learning's never been easier. Cloud learning begins true instant learning, where you can reinforce and get those nuggets of knowledge. It's reinforceable learning. You get your just-in-time learning as you need it while you're doing a task embedded in your actual application, which is, I love. I use Sonic all the time on my own Microsoft applications, just so I can fix that little thing I didn't know how to do, instead of asking a colleague or going out on Microsoft Help, which I am not a big fan of, or going to Google and searching for answers. Being able to do it right there where I need it is fantastic. So I want to thank Borderless Learning in particular, and Field Nation especially, for hosting this and having us here today. We're happy to stand by and answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, Suzanne, I'd first like to circle back to the question that you posed earlier regarding, what does the cloud mean for learning? We did have a couple responses, and I'd like to just read those to share with what people have said, and then we can move on to the questions. So some of the things that people mentioned were freedom and the ability to learn anytime and anywhere. That sentiment was, a couple people had echoed that actually. The idea of attending classes and having access to course materials regardless of where you are, kind of under that same thread, and the flexibility and the availability piece of it is pretty big there too. So
I love all those adjectives because they're all true, and who doesn't want more freedom in our life and our work and our personal life? We want that freedom, that flexibility to make our days richer and more personal. So those are wonderful responses.
And we did have quite a few questions regarding the actual tool and in specifics. One specific question, and Suzanne or Joern, you can talk about this, is what about integrations with Google Apps?
I'll let Joern take that question.
There is no integration with Google Apps so far. I mean, that's a clear answer, right?
Yeah, but it's also it's a clear answer, but it's also it's a good question. It shows interest. It's a good question and it shows interest, and I know that we'll take that to heart.
It is. Yes.
So the next couple questions are about actually taking the quizzes and that more structured area of learning. So does the user receive any sort of certificate of completion at the end of each module after or passing a quiz? And with that, could a manager see a report showing what modules an employee has completed?
Yeah.
Joern, sorry to interrupt real quick, but Joern, do you want to pull up the dashboard real quick? Because that will illustrate exactly.
I have it already. If I can have the screen, I will show this.
There you go.
So it is possible, of course, the tool tracks the activity and also the quizzes taken. So this is a possible management report showing how many, who did what test or what test was passed or not passed by whom. The passing score is 80%, so then the wonderful feature of conditional formatting, you can look it up in the tool for conditional formatting, allows you to put these kind of KPI indicators in here, if someone passed that or not, or how many quiz attempts he or she needed to get to the 85% to pass the quiz. These are the kinds of, let's say, high-level management. But someone, when I want to look as a user, I can also do that going to the report section here and go to reports, show me the quiz results, and I have basically the same information here as an overview.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the dashboard has more. For example, I can track how many users, how many views we have per month or so. This is sample data, so it's not real data, but it's also giving me a high-level overview of information where I can drill down, for example, to the quiz results, or I can take a closer look of what is popular in my company to learn. Answers the question.
Yep. So I'm actually going to leave it for a second here, Joern, just in case there's another question. If you don't mind, I'll leave it on your screen. Mm-hmm. Another question, kind of circling back, I know you touched on this with Google Apps, but is this truly just for Microsoft products, or are there other products that this can work for too?
The ribbon integration is for the Microsoft products, but the tool itself can contain all kinds of training. So there is also a possibility to have custom training, or let's say network essentials, or any other content from the site. The other question is, how can I access the content? And that is all stored in the cloud, but the ways to access the cloud are very much different, and what we see is that Microsoft Office is good for, let's say, 80 to 90% of all used software in companies, and that is our focus, and to provide tools and training solution for companies and professionals and individuals. And so that is why we created another entry, another door to the cloud. Or a stairway to heaven? No, that's not. To the cloud with the ribbon integration. I mean, I need to I would definitely take a closer look to Google Apps. We all know that this is a growing area, the Google Apps, but in order to be accessible via the cloud, it needs to be in the cloud, correct? It needs to have a ribbon, right? What did I say? In order to access training from the ribbon, there needs to be a ribbon. I mean, what I can do is I can, as another sample of providing videos in the cloud is the Office 365. I don't know if you are familiar with Office 365, but right in the video section of Office 365, where is the video? Here is the video. There are channels, training channels. I can create channels, and then I can access the video. So I don't need to have a ribbon for tools like Google Apps or Office 365 that are already in the cloud. Is my point clear? Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah.
So this is just another example. We discussed it briefly, how to other ways of providing the videos to content, the content to the learner, so to speak.
Thank you.
There's been a couple questions here regarding cost and cost per user, and wondering if those training modules are free or if there's a cost to them.
There is a cost to them, and it's volume based, but it's very low price point even for an individual to have a subscription for a year. So that pricing question needs to be deferred to Borderless, but I know that they'll be happy to respond, and we can give, I'll work with them to give you any scenarios you need on volume. But I just did some volume up to 40,000, and it gets down to the pennies per user per year. So it's very inexpensive to begin with on an individual basis, but you start adding users, and it continues to plummet.
Okay. Another question regarding some of the videos. They're wondering if there are videos to assist in networking and any server issues or anything related to that topic.
We have a networking essentials class, and there's some other stuff on the horizon that the next call with Joern will be talking about. So I can't let the cat out of the bag yet, but presently we do have the network essentials class.
Okay. So someone has asked a question that I will actually answer. They're wondering, what is the connection for Field Nation and Borderless Learning? Field Nation is an online platform where we connect businesses and freelance technicians. And part of our business model is to make sure that our technicians have resources available for continuing education and to make sure that they're able to continuously learn. And that is where we partner with Borderless Learning to offer some of those trainings so they can expand their skill set, get more trainings. And what that helps is our technicians that use our platform are able to expand their skill set, which means sometimes getting jobs that they would have possibly not gotten before, being exposed to those certifications. So that's the connection for Field Nation and Borderless Learning. Let's see, just wait for another minute here for any additional questions to come in. One other question is, what's the difference between this application and a remote server?
Joern, you want to answer that?
A remote server. A remote server does not be necessarily in the cloud. It could also be behind the firewall, and you need there are higher hurdles to access a remote server behind the firewall. What Suzanne said is, basically a cloud is a farm of servers some were provided by Amazon or some other providers, or Microsoft or so, but a remote server is normally just a different description for something, for a server that is behind the firewall. That is a typical expression for the remote server. But you can also say that servers in the cloud are remote, but that is not the typical explanation for a remote server.
Thank you. There's another question or a follow-up question to the question about Field Nation and Borderless Learning, excuse me, regarding some of those certifications for technicians and paying for those of a Field Nation account. To this person, we'll reach out separately to discuss some of those things, and we'll drive you towards Borderless Learning to talk about the certifications and things that you can do as a Field Nation user. So thank you for those questions. I think that is it for questions. Is there anything else, Joern or Suzanne, that you'd like to share?
We want to extend our gratitude to the Field Nation individuals that participated today. Thank you for your time. We know you're busy individuals, and we hope that this part of your day was of interest and helped expand your awareness. Thank you so much for your time.
Also from my side, it's time for me to leave the office. It's nearly 8 p.m. So I enjoyed being on the call as well, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you everyone. And just please note that this video will be available on the Field Nation YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search Field Nation, just look for this recording of the webinar. We thank you everybody for joining today.
Thank you. Bye.